I have one person who left a really, really, really stupid comment that I did talk about in one of my long ass rants. They left a comment, and I replied to them a few times telling them why they were wrong and all that stuff, and long story short, they ended up saying a bunch of bullshit, and I replied with, "I'm no longer going to reply to you," and toodles, I think I said. And yet they reply, I didn't read it. And then on my last Hall of Shame video, they said, "Oh, you can put my comment on the Hall of Shame, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, nope, because I'm done with you. I'm like, this person obviously has no reading comprehension whatsoever, because obviously I said, I'm not going to reply to you anymore, and that I was done. So it's like, how do read? How did you go to school? How old are you? I don't even know. Did you miss your nap time, or just want juice? What else do kids do when they're upset? Mom, I want a cookie. I don't know. Kids are annoying. It all comes down to the fact that humans are inherently evil and destructive and cruel. These are the things that a lot of people haven't been able to... Kids don't know how to suppress that yet. Don't know how to suppress their evil instincts. Adults, when they grow older, they start to learn how to suppress it, and sometimes it's still hard, but that's how you get people who are compassionate, people who are nice, people who wouldn't do things like this. And for the adults that still do things like this, or cause all of these horrible things to do that, they haven't learned how to suppress their instincts. Their instincts have completely taken over. It's akin to them being wild, to them being feral, and compassionate people being domesticated. We're animals too, so we have obviously learned how to domesticate ourselves. But unfortunately, not everybody knows how to do that, or mental inability to do that. And once you hit me, I am completely allowed to either defend myself or hit back. I have the right. You have given me the right. So if anybody wants to call this bullying, like freaking, what was this, hollow destruction or whatever, then you need to look at yourself in the mirror and go, maybe I'm just telling this person this because I dislike the way I behave. I don't feel bad about showcasing people whose intent are to harm me. I have no problem with that. Now, if somebody said, like, okay, so this is unfair will to kindness. The beginning is scary, lol. I'm watching at night getting freaked out. Now, I would never say this. I don't think this at all, but putting myself in somebody else's shoes, if I were to say, oh my god, you got scared of this, lol, you stupid baby bitch, blah, 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 blah. If I said that to this comment, that would be me throwing the first stone. And that's unjustified. I had no right to do that. At all. If you act like this, and it doesn't matter if you're on the internet, these are still real people. And do you think that authors support everything they write? Do you think Sergeant Sprinkles is out there torturing, killing, and eating other people? No. What about me? I write muffins, and mine has escalated way beyond cupcakes. Do you think that I'm out torturing, murdering, killing, and eating other people? No, I can't even leave the house without somebody. I'm not interested in cannibalism. I have no reason to go out there and murder a bunch of people and torture them. And I have the common sense to know that even if I did, I'd get caught. Alright? There are a lot of things that writers write about that they write because it's for the story. Do you think that J.K. Rowling supports a dude who's all-powerful, just killing people in cold blood Voldemort? Do you think she supports that? Do you think that, I can't think of any books that I've read recently. Well, series of unfortunate events, all of these unfortunate things happening to these characters. Do you think that Lemony Snicket supports all of that cruelty? No. This is fiction. And we write this fiction because we enjoy being hyped up in this way, to feel the adrenaline. Like, Tool's song, Vicarious. I need to watch things die from a good safe distance. Vicariously, I live while the whole world dies. You all feel the same, so why don't you just admit it? It's people who are like me, and a lot of, my of-age viewers for Muffins and Cupcakes, and anybody who loves horror movies, horror games, criminal-type TV shows, anything like that. People who like this stuff aren't necessarily going to be attracted to doing it, though, because they like this, there's automatically going to be those fantasies. Fantasies are fantasies for a reason. So, vicariously, we are living through these fictional characters who are hurting these other fictional characters. If we didn't have that, then there would be a point where we would break and actually do what we know is wrong. These fantasies would most likely take over our minds, especially for those of us who, I'm on medication, but there have been times where I wasn't on my medication. For those people who are not on medication, unfortunately, it would not be their fault, It would have, if it were their fault, it would have to be premeditated and completely, in their right mind. Horror exists for a reason. Because people who created the first, fictional horror stories and whatnot had these fantasies but knew it was wrong. Or knew that it wasn't plausible. And that's carried on for centuries. And, I'm sorry, I'm really, really tired. I could not wake up this morning. So, for those of us who enjoy this horror, it definitely doesn't mean we actually support it happening. When you hear about somebody going out and killing a bunch of people, we don't go, oh, yay! When Danielle Van Damme's body was found and all of the evidence was explained and all that, I didn't go, oh my god, that's so cool! I was 10 years old at the time. No, I was fucking scared. I was horrified that something like that could happen to a little girl. That somebody thought of these things and actually did it. And the more recent things with, I don't remember what her name was, but she was discovered in a house, or she escaped a house. She was kidnapped when she was like 7, and she got out when she was 18 years later or something. She was raped. She was forced to have some dude's children. The dude who kidnapped her. She was forced to be locked away in the cellar, and she's not the only person who has undergone this kind of horror. There are multiple stories about this, and it's disgusting. And I don't remember how old I was when I read that story, but it was only a couple years ago, so I was obviously an adult. And what did I do? Did I do, oh my god, that's so cool, I wonder how this person managed to get her and keep her and blah 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 blah. No, I didn't. What I thought to myself was, oh my god, how could something like this happen to such a poor, innocent young thing? I may not like children, but that does not mean that I support them getting hurt. And God forbid rape. That is force to have children And then, I if I remember correctly, she had a few daughters that ended up getting raped as well, and it's upsetting. It's not cool. And even when, they talked about her escape story, I'm sitting there going, well, it's good that she escaped, but if it were me, I don't know if I'd want to live with that. It's like, it's one of those things where you just gotta think, if you were in this position, how would you have felt? Would you think that it was cool? Did you think that it was cool that these things were happening to you? And on the other side, do you think it would be cool to keep a young little girl in a cellar or in a basement and force yourself on her and torment her? It's with any killer, with any victim of any age. This is why we keep it to fiction. This is why I keep it to fiction. For one, I personally, because I keep it to fiction, I personally do not know what it's like to physically torture or kill somebody. I have never tortured an animal, and I have never killed an animal. All of my pets die from natural causes. I can't even imagine myself torturing an animal, because if the thought were to pop up, I would just start sobbing and take my rat and cuddle him and just be like, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you so much. I have to do that if I see animal abuse or murder in movies or something. I'll just hold one of my rats and just be like, I love you so much, you're gonna live forever. And I know they're not gonna live forever. But it's just like, and I've never been kidnapped, I've never been tortured, and I've obviously never been murdered, because if I had been murdered before, I would be a medical miracle. I don't know what it's like to be a victim or to be the predator. I don't know what it's like. I cannot tell you that I would be cool with it. I could not tell you that I could be upset by it, because I don't know either way. My mind would like to think that I'm just as badass as I am in my dreams, and that I would thoroughly enjoy it, would never get caught, would be absolutely powerful, and be able to do whatever I wanted with no consequences. Oh yeah, that's how dream me is. Sometimes I'm like a murder suspect or something in my dreams, in some kind of timeline of my dreams. My dreams have storylines and such. I'm actually convinced that when we dream, we get sent to one of our other lives in a parallel universe or something. That's the only thing that makes sense right now. Reitanna, you lost your train of thought again because you go on tangents and you have a really bad memory, so you can't fucking stay on topic. I'm gonna pause this while I try to find my topic. Right. I was saying that I don't know what it's like. Because I don't know what it's like, the only thing I have are my fantasies. And fantasies are meant to be acted out in some way. If they're dangerous, impossible, or improbable, what better way to express them but by putting them into fiction? I live vicariously through my murderous characters, whether they're the Bakers or if they're Kodo or, any side character that, or, Lizzie. Lizzie's a big one. I step into these characters' shoes, to say, in the pony case, in their horseshoes. Anyway, I step into their shoes and I become these characters. And the other characters, any other character, is real to me. This is what a writer does. No matter what genre, no matter what, a good writer steps into these characters. I am no longer Kara. I am no longer Kara Reynolds. I am Pinkie Pie, or I'm Inky Pie, or I'm Babs, etc. And all of these other characters are real. So, based on the fantasies, because they're so unrealistic, but are based on possible things. There's a mix of unrealistic and realistic elements. I can do whatever I want to these characters that feel real when I'm in another character's skin. And guess what? I'm not harming anybody. And that's how fantasies, to those of us who actually have a right mind. You know, I'm very sick, but I'm on medication, so I am right now in my right mind. I'm dandy, actually. I don't have to find out what it's like. I can't say I don't have to find out what it's like to be a victim, because you never know, and I am always carrying a wallet chain in my pocket whenever Mike and I go out, so that I have at least some kind of weapon, because you're not allowed to carry knives on you unless you have a license. And I'm always thinking that somebody's walking behind us. I always hear footsteps. I get scared by shadows and leaves, and I'm just ready to turn around and just wail on whoever is going to try. You know, I'm expecting to get stabbed. I'm expecting Mike to get stabbed. I'm expecting to get shot. This is my paranoia. This is what my anxiety does to me. It's social anxiety is a huge burden, and for those of you who have it, know what it's like. I have severe paranoia. I don't like it. I don't like it. But because of all this paranoia, I expect to be a victim someday. If I die, I expect that it'll either be by my own hand for one reason or another, or I will be killed in some way. I'm not going to live a full life. I can feel it. And if I do, well, then I was proven wrong. I can't prove any of these things. Almost anything is possible. The probability, it could be high or low. It doesn't matter. But think about Encephalon, my fictional world. Obviously, it's fake. The characters are fake. Some characters are based on real people, like my Reitanna character is based on me. Senpai is based off of Lauren, my best friend. The Michael character is based off of Mike. You know, there are a couple of real people-based characters in Encephalon. But there's no such thing as a Blapple. There are no such things as Vulpulines. There's no such thing as the Suicide Society that I know of. There's no such thing as water cherries. There's no such thing as cotton candy clouds. Nothing. There are no candy forests. Nothing. Those things, they don't exist. They are part of my fantasies. They are what I wish the world was like. And Encephalon itself is a complete metaphor for the way my brain works. And I could go into that, but I really don't want to. So, if you're too young and you listen to these stories and say, oh my god, that's so cool, I want to go do it, you're sick. If you say, oh my god, that's so cool, I wish I could do it, something may or may not be wrong. If you say, oh, that's, in a way, oh, this story is so cool, like, you know it's a story, like, these things are cool, you know, in the story. You know what I'm trying to say. Reitanna can't speak, but you know what I'm trying to say. Then you have the common sense to know that it's wrong in real life. You know, if you still keep it in fiction, if you are very aware that it's fiction, if you're not going to go kill your friend as a sacrifice to a tall entity that does not exist, you're fine. But whether or not you are mentally sound enough to listen to this and not think you're going to go do it, you still should abide by my age warnings. I'm saying this heavily, and I'm saying this to any parent who might be watching this. I don't know. I am saying this right now. I do not support children under 14 listening to my stories that are recommended for 14 and up. Sometimes my age restrictions will say 15 or 16 or 17 or 18. I highly recommend, I really want you to obey my age restrictions. If you are a parent and you think that your child should not be listening to this stuff or watching my content, I agree with you. I am not one of those people who are going to be like, oh, well, parents just get over it. No. No. I know the reason why you don't want your kids to listen to it. And it makes you a good parent. So any of you kids, please, for the sake of humanity, for the sake of yourself, you don't understand. You do not understand why this is bad for you, whether you're sane or not. You will not understand until you get older. And I am saying this from experience, okay? You don't believe me. You won't believe me because you don't have the capability of believing me to understand the logic behind it. But you need to listen to me. You need to listen to me. Do not listen to my fanfics if you're under 14. Do not watch my videos if you're under 14. Do not. You can stay subscribed to me or whatever and come back when you are 14. But I do not want you here if you are a child. You should not be watching my content. Okay? If you are my kids, I would keep you far away from this content. All right? I don't want you listening to it. I don't want you watching me. I only have a couple of videos that are safe for children. But I sincerely wish that people didn't say, oh, I'm 10 years old and I don't care, or I'm 10 years old and I can handle it. You don't understand that you can't. And I really wish you did. I wish that that proper judgment was one of the first things to develop. It would solve a lot of problems, but unfortunately, proper judgment does not develop until around age 19 or 20. And your brain's done developing at 20. You, as a child, do not know better. Even if you think you know better, you do not know better. And you know that I will not sugarcoat it. I will not lie to you. I will never lie to you, and I will never, never beat around the bush just to be nice. I am telling you the truth. You cannot handle this. I don't want you to listen to this. I don't want you here until you are 14 or older. I do not want you watching my content. And I want you to leave my channel until you're ready to come back. You shouldn't be on YouTube. Even if your parents allow you on YouTube, by law and the terms of use on YouTube and by law, you are not allowed to be on this site until you're 13 or older. You need to follow rules because rules are set there for a reason. And if we didn't follow rules, the entire world would be even more chaotic than it already is. Do you know why it's so chaotic? Because there are rules that aren't being followed. There are laws that are not being followed. These things are put in place to keep everybody's safety, to keep everyone safe. And when people don't follow it, the safety is broken. And guess what? You cannot fix it. Whatever will end up messing you up when you're a kid will follow you until you're an adult, and you cannot unlearn that. Trust me. I know that from experience too. But please, if you respect me in any way, shape, or form, even if it's just a little bit, if you like my content, and you are under 14, please listen to me and follow the rules. Obviously, if you're 13, you're allowed to be on YouTube, whatever. I just hope that you don't, get to my videos unless you're 14. But I can't stop you from being on YouTube. If you're under 13, you definitely should not be on YouTube, let alone watching my stuff, okay? And I know I'm repeating myself a lot, but that's because I need to get into your head. Please. You don't understand. You think you do, but you do not. If you actually truly understand and will heed my warning, you are incredibly intelligent. But even the smartest kids don't have proper judgment. And by definition, that makes kids stupid. Any kid. Me, when I was. You, when you are. You, when you was. Mike, when he was. You know, all's that. Children are stupid because the definition of stupidity is lacking proper judgment. Proper judgment does not develop until the end. It's the last thing to develop. You do not understand. And if you think you can handle it, you're wrong. Okay? That's all there is to it. You are wrong. You do not know better. You don't think you are not right even though you think you are. You're not prepared. Because you can't control your brain. You can't control what your brain does. If we could, do you really think that I would have anxiety or manic depression or PTSD? Do you think that I'd let these things get to me? Going outside, not being able to ride in a car without freaking out. Do you think that those kind of things would happen to me? No, because the brain is a powerful machine and it does what it wants. We have medication to help it along, the way and say, hey, this is bad. It's like the brain is a computer that does everything on its own, and we have to introduce certain programs to it regularly to say, hey, you shouldn't be doing this. It's like modding our brain to keep things from happening. Please listen to me. Please, 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 please listen to me. Alright? And I know there's probably a lot of kids not even watching this video because they don't care. But for those of you who are, please, for the... And I know this went on a lot longer than it should have, but this comment brought up a lot of different points that, in general, could be true if it weren't a kid saying it. It's, all of these things, if written by an actual adult, an actual parent, in parent language, let's say, could be true. This could happen. The parents of those girls who tried to murder their friend, that's real. That was real. And because these things are possible, I just want everybody to know that I'm on the good side. I'm on the side that supports the age restrictions. I hate liars, and anybody who lies about something like that so easily should be ashamed. But I am no saint. I was a child, and yes, I've told my fair share, quite a large amount, of lies. But again, the reason why children lie so much and think they can get away with it is because they lack proper judgment. Later in life, I realized, even before my brain was developing, I realized that so many people were lying to me and it hurt, and I said, I'm not going to do this anymore. It did take me a while to completely get out of the habit of lying. Unfortunately, it is a really bad habit, but that's why we need to kick it when it's early, and I wish that when I was young that I was able to say, stop it. Did you take the last cookie? Yes. Did you draw on the walls? Yes, I did. Did you splatter toothpaste on the mirror? Yes, I did. Your punishment will be so much less harsh. Words. Reitanna English. So please, 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 just follow rules and don't lie. I'm done repeating myself.